For over 10 years, Kurds in Syria have enjoyed autonomous rule across the northeast of the country. After the beginning of the civil war there in 2011, a collapse of governance created a power vacuum. The Kurds, under the organization known as the YPG, along with allied Arab tribes, created the SDF, or the Syrian Democratic Forces. This functioned as the military of the unrecognised government that would become known as Rojava. Its official name was the Democratic Autonomous Administration of North and East Syria, or DAANES for short. With the backing of the United States, the SDF managed to fight and defeat ISIS along with the international coalition. The SDF lost over 11,000 soldiers in the fighting, but took large swathes of territory which they have ruled ever since. Rojava is noteworthy for its novel political system, which was styled after Öcalan's concept of democratic federalism. Öcalan, for those who don't know, is the imprisoned leader of the PKK. Rojava was a rare example of feminist and democratic governance in a region not particularly known for either, at least on paper. Rojava has been criticized by many for its authoritarian behavior, as well as its ethnic nationalism. Still, since 2012, Rojava has governed relatively well for an unrecognized state, and its style of governance has been less heavy-handed than its neighbors. So what's changed? After the fall of Assad in December 2024, the new Syrian government has been reasserting control of the country. The government, created by HTS, backed by Turkey, is led by Ahmed al-Shara. Al-Shara used to be a member of both ISIS and Al-Qaeda and had fought in Iraq against the United States. He now claims to be a reformed centrist who no longer holds Islamist dreams for Syria. Over the past year, he has made progress, but at the cost of violence. Both in Latakia and Soeda, opposition to the government has been met with massacres. The Alawite and Druze minorities were killed in their thousands. Talks between the new government and Rojava have been ongoing while this occurred. The talks revolved around integration and autonomy for the region. Up until late last year, relations had been bloodless, but fighting broke out between the government and SDF in August. It had remained low level and was punctuated by ceasefires until it escalated into an all-out war this month. Over the course of 2 weeks, the 13th to the 20th of January, the government retook huge swathes of land from the SDF. This followed a complete breakdown in the talks. Estimates are scarce, but the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights approximates that 1,000 deaths on both sides occurred over the 10 days of fighting. The government's success in recapturing SDF territory has been put down to the internal collapse within the SDF. While united on paper, the army has been divided between a coalition of Kurdish militias such as the YPG and Arab militias. Possibly seeing the writing on the wall, several of these defected to the government side. Rojava has governed Arab majority areas for several years, and this was never appreciated by many of the locals. What followed was a collapse in the SDF, which al-Shara's forces exploited. Another reason is Turkey, who is an ally of al-Shara. Turkey opposes Kurdish autonomy in Syria due to their own conflict with the PKK. They view any Kurdish government on their border to be an existential threat against them. This is partly since the PKK and YPG are allies and overlap in their supporters/members. Turkey draws no distinction between the two groups. Erdogan likely aided al-Shara and probably encouraged this offensive against the SDF. A third reason is the fact that the United States now supports al-Shara's attempt to unify Syria. They no longer wish to ally with the SDF over a new Syrian government, which hurts the Kurdish position. Since the 20th of January, a tentative ceasefire has been agreed upon. While there are still clashes between the SDF and the government, they have slowed. Both sides are once again negotiating. but the SDF's position has been weakened. Before the recent conflict, the deal they were offered included 3 Kurdish army divisions and a senior defense post for the SDF's leader under a unified Syrian army. Now this has been rescinded. There will be no political autonomy in any future deal. The Kurds have even less to bargain with than 3 weeks ago, and Kurdish cities such as Kobani remain under siege and have run out of necessities. 5 children have frozen to death there over the last number of days. It seems likely that the current talks will break down once again and the war will resume. If so, it will be bloody. The YPG still holds territory, including Kurdish cities such as Kobani and al-Hasaka. The government can expect a fight for them. It seems unlikely that YPG fighters would surrender knowing what happened to the Alawites and Druze just a few months ago. But they are still likely to lose. The government is expected to take the remaining territory, and even if they failed, Turkey would intervene militarily to help. They have already involved themselves in Syria several times, in 2016, 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2022. There is also the issue of ISIS prisoners in Rojava. According to one Kurdish estimate, there are 28 camps and prisons controlled by the SDF for ISIS prisoners. This includes 10,000 fighters and 40,000 women and children. There is the worry that a breakdown of order would see thousands being freed in the process, which could help ISIS reform in the country. In the 10 days of recent fighting, over 120 ISIS detainees escaped from a prison, with 81 being recaptured. The SDF and the Syrian government blame each other for releasing them. If the conflict resumes, this situation could worsen. It seems like the end has begun for Rojava. If it falls and Kurds are not successfully catered to politically by the government, the collapse will likely lay the seed for future conflict. But Syria would be unified, at least nominally, for the first time since 2011, apart from the Israeli occupation in the south. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I tried to keep my own opinion out of this and keep it as informative as I could, but I am worried about what's happening, and I hope my prediction in this video was wrong. With that, I'll see you guys next time.